I really didn't think I was going to make it back to the boat. Swimming through a pool of my own blood. I was conducting a counter-terrorism exercise with the Navy clearance divers. A 3-metre bull shark came up from underneath me and grabbed me by the hamstring. I'd basically just given up and accepted the fact that I was going to die. Before I was in the Navy, I was an airborne soldier, jumping out of planes, shooting rocket launchers. And then the Navy, I'm dealing with bombs and I'm doing deep diving. And, I chose an inherently dangerous life. So you can't blame the things that go wrong when they happen. Most people think I'm a little bit crazy, but something happens to you the first time you dive with sharks and you build up this beautiful respect with them, and you see them in their element and not as a vicious, man-eating terror. They're just something pretty special.
I know you've always been a friend to me. I've struggled hard, but I failed to see that you have always wanted something back. You wanted more than this heart attack. 2 eyes in the middle of a face. For
Hi. So I grew up in Australia in a place called Melbourne. I was the oldest of 4 kids. Dad was a cop, mum was a housewife. And we moved to a place called Canberra when I was 10. Really, that's the first time I've ever heard that. I didn't do too well in Canberra. I got into a lot of trouble. I probably got in everyone's fair share of trouble. I'm going to be dead or in jail by the time I was 23, and that's not a very great prospect. And I started making music with some other guys, and we were having a lot of fun. We put out an album. We opened up for Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Obviously, being white guys in Australia, we were rapping, duh. And I said, hey, what do you think about me joining the army? And they pissed themselves. They did give me one bit of advice. They said, whatever you do, don't join infantry. So I joined infantry. And I spent 4 years as an army paratrooper. But I had this longing to do more and see more and stop shitting in a hole in the bush. And so I looked further afield and I found out about these things called the clearance divers in the Navy. And then I went on to the 10-day clearance diver selection testing, a little bit like the Navy SEALs test. 70% of my course quit, most of them on the first day. I lost 15 pounds, but I passed. And not only did I discover my dream job, I discovered my dream life. I was on the surface in Sydney Harbour, on my back, black wetsuit, black fins, just kicking my legs. I don't know. I turned around, I looked down and came face to face with a massive shark's head. Not what I was expecting. Literally my worst nightmare. I was terrified of sharks. There was only 2 things in life that I was absolutely petrified of: sharks and public speaking. It was sawing the flesh out of my body and drowning me at the same time. It lasted about 8 seconds. And at the end there, I accepted the fact that I was going to die. The boat, and just out of the sheer relief of not being eaten anymore, I passed out. Tomo sprung into action. His training taught him that I was going into cardiac arrest and he needed to stimulate my heart. So he jumped on top of me and he gave me what we call a series of short, sharp jabs to the chest. And it worked. I woke up and I looked over and my hand was gone, freshly mangled by a shark.